Good morning, everyone. This morning I want to start with the victims and the families. We have teams of investigators and victim specialists working with each of the families. The purpose is to help facilitate the next of kin notifications and to provide counseling services, as well as to ensure that each and every one of them and the families receives the highest level of support. These families are currently living through the nightmare in the most personal way possible. I would ask that the media respect their privacy and let them grieve in their own way. As notifications happen, we hope to share their names and a little bit more about them in future press conferences. On to the issues related to the campus. If your car is still parked on the campus, you need to meet at the Douglas County Fairgrounds today at 3 p.m. At that time, buses will be there to take you back to the campus to retrieve your car. You should bring photo ID. If you cannot find your photo ID and you believe you have left it at the campus, check in with an officer at the college and let them know, and they will assist you in attempting to retrieve it from one of the buildings. There are also mental health counselors stationed at the fairgrounds, including counselors being provided by the Community Health Alliance. Students and staff in need of assistance are strongly encouraged to seek out that help. Also, in talking with the Umpqua Community College partners this morning, our current understanding is that they intend to reopen the campus early next week. Please stay tuned for more information on that. We expect that the medical examiner will release the name of the shooter sometime later today. Again, you will not hear anyone from this law enforcement operation use his name. I continue to believe that those media and community members who publicize his name will only glorify his horrific actions. And eventually, this will only serve to inspire future shooters. At this time, I would like to introduce ATF Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Salinas Nunez.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Salinas Nunez. Like the Sheriff said, I'm the Assistant Special Agent in Charge for the Seattle Field Division, and I wanted to provide some information on the weapons we have in custody so far. So far, we've recovered 13 weapons. Out of those 13 weapons, we currently have in custody 6 were recovered at the school. So far, we've recovered 13 weapons. Out of those 13 weapons, we currently have in custody 6 were recovered at the school. 7 were recovered at the shooter's residence. All 14 have been traced to a federal firearms dealer. They are all at different stages currently in the tracing process. 8 of the 14 have been traced to first trace purchasers. 7 have been purchased by the shooter or a family member, all within the last 3 years. In addition to the weapons recovered, we also were able to recover a flank jacket, was recovered lying next to the rifle at the school. The jacket had steel plates along with 5 magazines. An additional amount of ammunition was also recovered at the apartment. And that's all we have at this moment. I also want to thank our Seattle, our Phoenix Field Division, and our North Carolina Field Division, and our LA Field Division for working diligently in obtaining all these tracing information for us.
Did you say flash jacket?
Yes. We have 14 currently. It was 14 weapons. One of them he actually traded and back to the store for one of the firearms that were recovered at the school. They were all purchased legally, yes.
Were they purchased locally?
Not all of them.
But they were all purchased legally by the shooter?
Some were purchased by the shooter, some were not purchased by the shooter.
Folks, I'll open it up for some questions here at the end of this as well. If you let us get through the rest of this real quick. This is a very active investigation still. We have a lot of resources committed. They were committed all through the night, conducting follow-up investigations. And I just want to remind everyone that we have a toll-free number set up to collect tips from those in the community. So if anybody in the community has any information about this incident, or if you have any video or photographs relevant to the incident, we ask you to please call 1-800-CALL-FBI. Choose option 7. I also want to remind everyone that we have a number of mental health resources available beyond those at the fairgrounds and beyond those at the college. Anyone who is feeling anxious about this incident, again, I encourage you to seek counseling help. It is available. You can find a listing of resources on our press releases. So at this time, I'll be willing to answer a couple of questions.
Sheriff, can you confirm this is the photograph of the shooter? Give us absolute confirmation of that, please.
I cannot.
Sheriff, assess the magnitude of the cache of weapons and the ammunition, and should one person, is it normal for one person to have this amount of weaponry in Mexico?
In Oregon, I mean, this is a hunting state, and firearms are popular in most households, yes.
Sheriff, what's the connection with the shooter in the school?
That I do not know. That is part of the investigation that's ongoing. We don't have information on that.
Have there been any notes recovered? There have also been reports suggesting that perhaps the gunman gave someone a flash drive with information. Any information about either of those two things?
Again, you know, we are in the middle of this investigation, and any information pertaining to that, it would be irresponsible of me to comment at this time.
There were reports that you targeted people because they were Christian.
Can you confirm the number of fatalities at this moment?
The number, I'm sorry.
Fatalities.
Yes, there is a total of 10 fatalities. That number hasn't changed. That includes the shooter.
Sheriff, you've begun to come under attack yourself for being a strong Second Amendment advocate. How do you feel about the politicalization of this tragedy?
Well, like I've said numerous times already this morning, my focus right now is on getting this investigation completed and taking care of the victims and the families of the victims, and so now is not an appropriate time to have those conversations.
Last question.
The shooter, it would certainly make it much easier for us to focus on the victims if we knew who some of the victims were. You must have notified some next of kin now. Surely you could release some of those names.
Regarding the name of the shooter?
No, just the names of victims. If you want us to focus on the victims, we have to know who the victims are.
Right.
Could you name them now? Name some of them, those who you've been able to identify next of kin.
I cannot. As I have mentioned before, this is a mass casualty incident, and there's protocols in place that require that those notifications be authorized by the Oregon State Medical Examiner's Office, and we hope that those notifications will come hopefully by the end of today. But at this particular point in time, I am not able to answer that.
No more questions.
No more
questions. Why does this keep happening in America? Why does this keep happening here?
Can you confirm Christians were targeted?
No more questions, please. I have some information for those of you in this room that you need to know. At 11:30, outside this building in front of the fire bays, the governor will be holding a press availability with the Oregon congressional delegation. That's 11:30 outside in front of the fire bays. We expect to have another press briefing in this room later this afternoon. When we get the time set, we will post that to Flash Alert and our Twitter account. Thank you. Corporal.
All right, guys, so that was the official press conference. As we just heard, the governor will be holding a press conference at 11:30 in about an hour. Early this morning, Mercy Medical Center, one of the hospitals treating many of the patients, held a press conference. It was very early in the morning. I believe it was 6 o'clock our time. So I assume many of you guys missed it, so I'm going to play that for you now here on News Now.